What's up, GymHybrid athletes? Today, I will be ranking the best and worst pull day exercises for muscle building using this tier list. S-ranked moves are the absolute elite, the cream of the crop. On the other hand, D tier? That's the trash section where the least effective ones will end up. I will rank these exercises based on 3 key factors: muscle activation, progressive overload, and the overall feel of the movement in terms of technique and stretch. A well-rounded pull day workout focuses mainly on the back and biceps, but I personally like to include abs as well. Each of these muscle groups has its own unique areas to target, but let's be real, you probably don't have hours to isolate every single part during a single session. That's where this ranking system becomes crucial. The goal is to spotlight the most effective exercises for maximum muscle engagement and efficiency. Keep in mind that this is a pull day workout, not a dedicated back or biceps only session. For example, the back has 4 main components, which are the lats, traps, rhomboids, and the erector spinae. An S-tier exercise is one that delivers the best bang for your buck, effectively targeting the entire muscle group or at least a significant portion of it. While we're on the back, let's kick things off with the deadlift. It's a powerful compound movement, but it's not exactly a magic bullet for your back gains. It's more of a leg-focused exercise, and for beginners, the risk of injury outweighs the benefits. That's why it's landing squarely in the C section. A similar movement, but with a lot more potential for your back gains, is the barbell row. This is a better option than the deadlift, but it still has its weak points. When you're performing this exercise, you activate a lot of stabilizing muscles like your calves, core, legs, and glutes. This means that it makes it hard to make a strong mind-to-muscle connection with your back. While it's a solid exercise, it's not the pinnacle of back training, earning it a solid B-tier spot. The dumbbell version of this move is equally effective, but it comes with a slight drawback. Eventually, you'll hit a plateau when you max out the available dumbbells in your gym. However, for most individuals, this won't be an immediate concern, making it a minor downside. Thus, it earns a solid spot in the B tier. Next up, we have the T-bar row. If you're a gym rat, you've probably seen legendary bodybuilders like Ronnie Coleman and Arnold Schwarzenegger perform this exercise. This is a solid B-tier move. The reason I'm giving it a B is because it's a compound movement that involves multiple muscle groups. However, chest-supported rows offer all the benefits of the freestanding T-bar row with the added advantage of a more stable and secure feel. This stability enhances the mind-to-muscle connection, allowing for better muscle activation. It's an absolute beast of a back builder and undoubtedly deserves an S-tier rating for its effectiveness. Let's dive into the world of pull-downs. With a plethora of variations and attachments available, the options are virtually endless. While delving into the specifics of each, I could easily turn this into an hour-long video, but I'll keep it concise. The truth is, every variation of the pull-down offers fantastic muscle activation. It just depends on which area of your back you're looking to target. For simplicity, I highly recommend sticking to the side-to-side lateral pull-downs. It's a foolproof choice, but don't hesitate to experiment with different variations to discover what works best for you. Overall, this exercise with almost all of its variations earns a solid S-tier rating. Before we dive into the next one, a quick heads up: never go for behind-the-neck pull-downs. Not only do they lack muscle activation, but they're also a one-way ticket to injury city. I'd give that variation a solid D, while the others stay a hard S. The timeless classic, the pull-up. In my book, it's the absolute king of back exercises. With endless variations to choose from, if I had to crown the best one, it would be the wide pull-up. But hold your grip. Make sure not to go too wide on the bar. Sometimes I see folks stretching out their arms like they're trying to hug the sky, and that's not ideal for muscle growth. Yes, the wide pull-up is a great back exercise, but I still recommend experimenting with different variations. Please, don't be that guy who is doing the behind-the-neck pull-up. This variation is literally useless. It's a solid S tier for the pull-up gang without the behind-the-neck one. If I had to rate the behind-the-neck pull-up, I would give it a D-. The inverted row, a staple in the calisthenics playbook. But when we're comparing it to heavy hitters in the weightlifting world, it's got its drawbacks. Sure, it's great for bodyweight workouts, but when it comes to adding that all-important progressive overload, it falls short. Tossing on some extra weight just feels awkward, doesn't it? If this were a calisthenics video, it would be getting a solid S, but for hybrid purposes, it's landing a C. Cable rows are a personal favorite for many athletes. They provide a deep stretch on the lats while delivering a crazy pump, making them a standout exercise. It's no wonder they deserve a spot in the S tier category. The straight arm lat pull down is a fantastic move that targets the lats and happens to be one of my personal favorites. However, achieving a strong mind to muscle connection and executing perfect form are crucial to effectively engaging the lats. Many individuals struggle with this aspect, which is why I'm rating it a B. But for those who excel in mind to muscle connection, it can easily climb up to an A. I know you've been waiting for the one arm dumbbell row, and the moment is finally here. This movement delivers an incredible stretch at the bottom and activates those muscles like a champ at the top. Now, the only hiccup is that some folks feel it more in their arms than their back. But fear not, that's usually a form issue. However, once you max out the dumbbells at your gym, progress can hit a roadblock. That's why it lands solidly in the A tier. Alright, let's dive into the Meadows row. This movement is like a symphony for your back, delivering a killer stretch and hitting your mid-back with sky-high tension. The beauty? You can target each side individually for maximum muscle activation. However, it's a bit of a time hog, which is why it's snagging an A rating. Let's talk about Renegade rows. I couldn't resist bringing this up after witnessing it in the gym yesterday. Honestly, it's the black sheep of back exercises. It feels more like an upper body compound movement than a true back exercise. While it's not necessarily bad for your upper body, it falls short when it comes to back activation. Sorry, but this one's getting a solid D. Let me know in the comments what you think about this ranking structure. I'm always open to debate and happy to answer any questions. Now that you know which are the best and worst back exercises, it is time to move to the next muscle group, which is the biceps. Our biceps have two heads, the long and short head. To achieve that impressive 3D look, you have to know how to target both heads effectively. But don't worry, I've got you covered. Let's kick things off with a true classic, the standing dumbbell curl. It offers excellent muscle activation and is perfect for everyone, from beginners to seasoned pros. Not to mention that it's a great fit for gym and home workouts. This is why it deserves its spot in the A tier. The incline dumbbell curl is a level up from the standing variation, but why is that the case? The incline bench puts your muscles in a deep stretch, and the tension you experience with this movement is incredible for muscle growth and hypertrophy. It's definitely an S tier move in any bicep workout routine. Next up, we have the dumbbell hammer curls. This exercise requires a lot of muscle activation from your forearms, which means that you can't isolate your biceps completely. While it does provide excellent benefits for overall arm development and grip strength, it doesn't target the biceps as effectively as other exercises. That is why I'm putting it in the B tier. Despite this, dumbbell hammer curls are still a valuable addition to any workout routine, especially for those looking to build balanced and functional arm strength. However, when it comes to maximizing muscle activation, the rope cable curl edges out the standing hammer curl. The constant tension provided by the cables throughout the entire range of motion enhances muscle engagement, making it better for hypertrophy. This exercise earns its spot in the A section. Ever tried the standing barbell curl? It's easily one of the top bicep exercises for maximizing muscle activation. Here's a pro tip. Opt for an easy bar instead of a straight bar. The easy bar not only improves grip, but also helps reduce shoulder and wrist strain, making your curls smoother and more effective. This small adjustment can make a significant difference in your workout experience. With its combination of effectiveness and comfort, I'm rating the standing barbell curl in the A category. How about the close grip easy bar curl? In my opinion, it is slightly better than the regular grip variation, but pretty much both of them will give you the same results. In my book, this is again A tier. Let's move on to the reverse dumbbell and barbell curls. It's important to note that these exercises heavily engage your forearms, which limits the isolation of the biceps. For those aiming for maximum bicep activation, focusing on exercises that minimize forearm involvement might be more beneficial. This is why I'm placing both of these moves in the C tier. One of my favorite bicep exercises is the Bayesian curl. Using cables provides an incredible stretch for the muscles, but the form is crucial here. To get the most out of this movement, perfect your technique. Start by placing one foot forward and make sure that you also lean forward with your body. Fully extend your arm back and focus on establishing a strong mind-to-muscle connection while performing this movement. This exercise earns its place in the GOAT section S tier for its ability to fully engage and stretch the biceps, making it a staple for anyone serious about arm development. While we're on the cable machine, let's discuss the crucifix curl. This exercise provides a good stretch for the biceps, utilizing the cable's constant tension. However, It's important to note that maintaining proper form is key to avoiding unnecessary strain on the wrists and elbows. A lot of beginners have a really hard time performing this move with perfect form, which leads to less muscle activation. Also, this exercise doesn't target both heads of the biceps evenly. This doesn't make it a bad exercise selection, but it's certainly not the best. This is why we're putting it in the A tier of our list. Now let's dive into the preacher curl family. You can perform this exercise in 3 main variations: with dumbbells, an easy bar, or on a machine. Right off the bat, I want to say that all 3 variations offer a deep stretch, making them excellent for muscle activation. But let's break down the differences between them. The dumbbell variation is fantastic because it allows you to train each arm individually, leading to better muscle balance and activation. That's why it earns a spot in the S tier. With the easy bar, you can't train each arm separately, which is why I'm placing it 1 level below the dumbbell variation in the A section. It's still effective, but it doesn't offer the same level of individual arm focus. The machine variation of this exercise is somewhat controversial. Gyms offer various machines, but some have poor range of motion, potentially limiting their effectiveness. Therefore, I'm placing it in the A tier category. Can you build huge biceps with bodyweight exercises? Let's find out. The Australian chin-up is one of the top calisthenics exercises for the biceps. However, compared to all the weightlifting options, it's not the best out there. Without a doubt, it offers a great stretch and muscle activation, but the main limitation is progressive overload. While using a weighted vest is a great way to add resistance, this limitation places it in the B section of our ranking. If this was a calisthenics video, I was going to rank it higher. The next bodyweight exercise on the list is the chin-up. This is one of the best compound movements, period. It works your entire upper body, putting a lot of focus on those biceps. However, its biggest benefit, comprehensive muscle activation, can also be a limitation for those who prefer isolating exercises. Despite this, it remains one of the most effective and accessible ways to build your biceps. Progressive overload is easy to achieve. Beginners can start with resistance bands, while advanced athletes can use a weighted belt or vest. That's why I'm placing it in the A tier. But I can't say the same about the biceps push-up. Even in the calisthenics world, this exercise is just confusing to me. The muscle activation for the biceps is minimal at best. All push-ups primarily target the shoulders, chest, and triceps. That's why this exercise is going at the bottom of the list in the D section. Okay, let's move back into the weightlifting world and talk about the straight bar cable curl. You already know that everything with cables is great because they provide constant tension in the entire movement. That's why they're definitely in the GOAT section, S tier. Time to move on to the next exercise on our list, the Zottman curl. In the first part of the lift, the concentric phase, your forearms are supinated, which maximizes biceps activation. However, the issue arises during the lowering part of the lift, or the eccentric phase, where bicep activation decreases. Because of this, I'm placing the Zottman curl in the B section. Oh boy, the waiter curl. I know I might stir up some controversy here, but I can't skip over this one. Honestly, I find this exercise a bit hard to swallow. There's nothing I like about it. From the lackluster muscle activation to the overall awkward feeling and performance, it earns a spot in the C tier, where even the waiter might give it a skeptical look. Let's move on to the spider curl, an excellent exercise for isolating and targeting the biceps effectively. The bench ensures proper form throughout the movement. Whether you choose dumbbells or a barbell, both variations offer great benefits and a deep stretch. In my opinion, this exercise deserves a top tier ranking. I'm giving it a solid S. Comment below if you agree or disagree with my ranking structure. I'll be sure to answer all your questions or concerns. As I mentioned at the start of this guide, I always train my core on pull days. And now it's time to rank the best and worst ab exercises. First, you need to remove all the videos you have saved on Instagram and TikTok that are titled 5-minute ab routine or get abs in 30 days. How about those HIIT style circle routines? Let me ask you this. Would you jump around like a fish out of water to build your shoulders? Probably not. So why would you do a cardio-based ab workout routine? Our abs are like every other body part, and you need progressive overload to build them. The HIIT style ab workouts are rated a D. With that out of the way, let's move on to the sit-up. This all-time classic is a great starting point for every beginner athlete, but it's also fantastic for those who are advanced. It offers a really good stretch on your core muscles, which is ideal for muscle building. You can also add weight over time, which makes them perfect for progressive overload. However, There is one problem with this move. If you have tight hips and aren't that good at mobility, you'll put a lot of pressure on your lower spine discs, which can cause an injury. That's why I'm placing them in the B section. For those who have mastered the body weight and weighted sit-up and can do 30 plus reps on both, the next progression will be the elevated sit-up. Again, you can do it with your own body weight or with added weight. This variation offers more muscle activation than the regular sit-up. The only problem here is the risk of back injury, which is not high but still exists. That's why I'm putting it in the A section. And while we're on the topic of sit-ups, we can't skip the hanging sit-ups. Or can we? This Spider-Man variation might look cool in Hollywood movies, but I personally don't recommend it. The position you're in feels and looks awkward, not to mention the risk of slipping and falling on your neck. I'm putting this exercise in the C tier. The cousins of the sit-up are crunches. In my opinion, this is a great exercise if you want to target those upper abs. A pro tip to make the move harder is to ensure you're not resting on the ground while you're in the bottom position. Make sure to stop right before you touch the ground to keep the tension high. However, there are better exercise selections out there, and this is why I'm giving it a solid B. The next move on the list is the bicycle crunch. The thing I like about this exercise is that it works your whole core, engaging both the upper and lower abs as well as the obliques, providing a comprehensive abdominal workout. However, the thing I don't like is that you can't really apply progressive overload to it, which limits its potential for long-term muscle growth and strength gains. That's why I'm placing it in the B section. Despite its limitations, it remains a solid choice for a well-rounded core routine. But before you get disappointed with all the crunch variations, let's dive into the machine crunch. This exercise is a game changer for progressive overload because you can easily adjust the weights to your current level. Plus, you'll definitely feel the burn in your core. It ticks off every checklist for a killer ab exercise, which is why it's soaring to the top of the list in the S tier. Another top crunch variation is the cable crunch. This exercise is an absolute beast when it comes to building strong and visible abs. Progressive overload is easy, making it perfect for both beginner and advanced athletes. Just ensure you're doing it with the correct form and targeting your core. Many people tend to swing their hands up and down like they're at a rock concert. If you're doing it the right way, this will be yet another S-tier exercise. Let's move on to the hanging knee raises. This is a really good and effective exercise, but only if you do it with perfect form. I always see people in the gym swinging around like those inflatable balloons you see in front of car dealerships. The only thing you need to move here is your knees, and to make sure that you have a really good mind-to-muscle connection with your core. If you're doing it with proper form, this exercise is a solid A-tier move. The boss of all hanging ab exercises is the toe to bar. Many people think you need the flexibility of a gymnast to pull off this movement, but that's not entirely true. Sure, if you're as stiff as a wooden plank, it might seem close to impossible, but if you're average or even slightly below average in flexibility, you can definitely nail it with the right technique. This is my personal favorite exercise when it comes to abs, and it definitely deserves its spot in the GOAT section S. All of the hanging exercises I mentioned require a strong grip, which not everyone has, especially if you're a beginner. That's why I recommend doing Roman chair straight leg or knee raises. The chair offers great support for your back, which eliminates the swinging problem for most people with hanging exercises. And at the same time, you won't have to worry about grip strength. This one is going in the A tier because it's slightly downgrading the hanging variations. If you think that 1 minute passes by fast, then you've never done a plank in your life. Or at least that's what the gym memes say. I completely agree that for a beginner athlete, the plank is a challenging exercise. But for more advanced people, this move won't cut it. Did you know that the world record for a plank hold is over 9 hours? I haven't heard of someone doing hanging leg raises for 9 hours straight. That's why I'm putting this exercise in the C tier, because it's not as effective once you get used to it. Ever tried doing dumbbell side bends? If the answer is yes, I want to ask you, why? This exercise is one of the most useless ones out there when it comes to abs. In theory, it is for the obliques, but in reality, it does not activate your core the way it should. It also puts a lot of pressure on your lower back, which can lead to injuries. There are far more effective and safer exercises available to target your obliques without risking harm. This one's a solid D-. For sculpted obliques, nothing beats the cable twist. This exercise keeps constant tension on your core, ensuring optimal muscle activation. Plus, you can easily apply progressive overload to keep challenging yourself. It's a top-tier move for sure, earning its spot in the S tier. Now that you know the best and worst exercises for your pull day workout, you might be wondering, should I only include the S tier moves in my routine? Actually, you can mix in some of the A tier ones as well. These exercises are comparable in terms of muscle activation, progressive overload potential, and overall effectiveness, offering a great balance of proper technique and optimal muscle stretch. The other question you might have is how many exercises you should include in your program. I recommend selecting anywhere from 1 to 3 per muscle group. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and I will do my best to respond as fast as possible. If you want to learn which are the best and worst exercises for push day workouts, make sure you watch the next video.